On the line, one of our favorite guests. He's on with us every week. He is Dr. Joe Congini from Akron Children's Hospital. He is a sports medicine expert. And Dr. Joe, what do you want to talk about this week?
Hey, Gene, Ray and I talked 2 weeks ago when the NCAA tournament started, and there's always an injury or two that really affects the tournament, who are the winners and losers and stuff. And one of those happened, actually two of those happened. It was a tale of two injuries this weekend. The first one was in a big game that Auburn was playing, and they have a star that was the SEC Player of the Year by the name of Johnny Broome. And he had a hyperextension injury late in the game where he injured his leg and his elbow. And he came over to the bench and talked to his coach and the rest of the players, and he said, "You guys are just going to have to play without me. It looks like I'm not going to make it back." And he went to the locker room, and the trainers and the medical team evaluated him, saw that there really wasn't any major structural injury, and stabilized him with tape and brought him back out. And with 5 minutes to go in the game, he came back, went back into the game, and 30 seconds later, he hit one of the biggest three-point shots of the year for the Auburn Tigers to beat Michigan State. And this is, in sports history, known as a Willis Reed moment or a Willis Reed experience. Willis Reed is a very, very famous New York Knicks basketball player who in May of 1970 tore his thigh muscle, and they thought he was done, never would be able to play again in the series. And he came out, and the Madison Square Garden went crazy, and the lift that he gave the team, and playing against Wilt Chamberlain, very famous, 1970. Oh my gosh, am I going back in the annals? All the way back to I was 12 years old, but Willis Reed helped lead the New York Knicks to a Game 7 championship win over the Los Angeles Lakers. And whenever somebody comes back from an injury when it looks like they're not going to be able to play, it's known in sports as the Willis Reed moment. And this was a Willis Reed moment Sunday for this player from Auburn. But the opposite of that happened also on the weekend, where one of the two best female players, women that play in the NCAA tournament, plays for USC, and she went down with an injury, and it was obvious to the medical team that she had torn her ACL. And with a torn ACL, that is a structural injury, and you're not able to come back. And amazingly, her team won the first game without her. She was 24 points a game, one of the best 2 or 3 players in the country. But then last night on the 31st, a couple nights ago, they lost to UConn 78-64. Juju Watkins is her name. So the difference between if you have a sprain or a bad bruise and they can stabilize it and you could come back, you could possibly have a Willis Reed moment where you pull out the improbable and win the game. But if you have something like a structural injury, like a torn ACL, like Juju Watkins, it can really affect your team. And unfortunately, USC was the number 1 seed, and they got knocked out of the tournament when they lost their star player.
So, Dr. Joe, it's probably incumbent upon the people there on the sidelines and back in the locker room to know the difference between the two. Because what if you sent somebody out and you thought it was just a sprain, it turned out to be something much worse? They might not be able to play ever again.
You're absolutely right. That's exactly what we began to talk about at the beginning of the tournament. It's part of why the sports medicine people kind of like the intensity of the tournament. The games are pretty short. There's only 5 players playing, so you have to make a split-second decision. Sometimes people take you back to the locker room. Sometimes they can get an X-ray, but not a very advanced study. You're not going to be able to get an MRI or anything. You just have to know with your experience, is this something structurally torn where this person could make it worse if they play, and that wasn't the case with Johnny Broome from Auburn. So he ran back out on the court and makes the biggest shot of the game the minute he comes back on the court. It was amazing, a Willis Reed moment. Or you go in there and you see and you check this young lady's knee, and unfortunately with years of experience, you know that there's a torn ACL, and she really puts herself at risk to play some more. And you're exactly right. It's those years of experience, and the medical team really thrives on really trying to help make those decisions And then if you do make the decision that somebody could play like Johnny Broom, you stabilize him with tape. You get him back out there as quick as you can. Time was running out, 5 minutes to go in the game, and they might have helped decide the game by what the medical team did at this NCAA tournament basketball game.
Wow, great information, and and kudos to you for being able to remember back to 1970, and what did you call it? The Willis what moment?
Willis Reed moment.
Okay.
Willis Reed was a captain of the New York Knicks.
All right.
This great basketball team, the Knicks, and it's a moment that people now use that terminology ongoingly over the last 30 or 40 years of sports medicine.
Okay, excellent. I learned a new term today. So if I'm if I'm ever feeling down and then I pull it out in the last second, I'll say I had my Willis Reed moment. So thank you so much for sharing that with us this morning, Dr. Joe. It's always a pleasure having you, and we appreciate you. And looking forward to hearing from you again next week. Ray will be back, and I'll be back doing my thing as well. So thank you so much.
Thanks, Gene, for all you do for our community too, and everything, and through the years for being so nice and friendly with me. Thanks a lot, and have a great week. Okay, Gene.
Okay, thanks a lot. And that's Dr. Joe Congini on 93.5 1590 WAKR.